cultural lifestyle which began in the Malay Peninsula and Indonesia between the 16th and 18th century still lives among us in the modern world. But is this time-consuming skill a dying art, or will dedicated individuals keep it alive for future generations? This is the story of a woman's love for her heritage and the kasut Manik, or beaded shoes. Penang, located in the north of Malaysia, is a bustling modern city full of life. This historic state boasts both sleek modern buildings as well as colourful, ornate and majestic ones from previous centuries. One of the city's iconic historical buildings is the Penang Peranakan Mansion, a stately home typical of a rich Baba's home from previous centuries, featuring eclectic design and architecture such as Chinese carved wood panels, English floor tiles and Scottish ironworks. With a rich and extensive variety of Peranakan beaded slippers proudly displayed for all to see, the beaded slippers' colourful and creative details reflect the Peranakan Nyona's focused discipline. These shoes, made to match the traditional clothes of the Peranakan ladies known as Nyonya Kebaya, have over the centuries featured beads of every colour possible and designs ranging from floral inspirations to abstract designs, wearable art at its finest. Amongst the city's fusion of modernity and cultural heritage is a woman who, inspired by her Baba Nyonya heritage and memories of her mother and childhood in the kampong, continues to practice this iconic piece of Peranakan culture. As part of her passionate involvement in the Penang Apprentice Program for Artisans, she conducts weekly classes where she enthusiastically shares her knowledge. Both men and women from all walks of life learn the methods and techniques based on May's years of experience. Creating these masterpieces is very time-consuming and requires focus and patience. It can take weeks or even months to complete a pair of shoes, depending on the complexity of the desired design. Her students are all willing apprentices who make the effort to learn the skills and dedicate the time required. But in the past, such activities were expected of a young Nyonya girl.
Being brought up in a Nyonya background, my mother is very strict. The four girls must know how to cook, how to sew, and then those days, crochet, tatting, wat sulam. I mean, those days, the concept as a girl, you must know all this. That's in case when you marry out to a family, to another family, at least you are the pride of the family, that you have good upbringing.
Although May was introduced to this art at a young age, it was only later in life that she had the opportunity to devote more time to it.
In fact, seriously doing my shoes, it was after I retired from I was in teaching, after I retired, and I was involved with this Anjong Wanita. And that's where, seriously, I was asked to conduct classes. And that's where I started sewing seriously, shoes, beaded shoes.
Now May has over 20 pairs of shoes in her personal collection, all of which she made herself. The The third child in a family of 6 children, May's mother, Koo Kim Nya, did her best to expose her children to different elements of their heritage. A young May remembers visiting her relatives in the kampong and how they were expected to be involved in such activities.
As a child, exposed to this is when I visit my great-grand and my grand-aunt in the kampong house. Because my grand-aunts, the 2 grand-aunts, they sew this sarong. Those days, sarongs are hand sewn. So they ambil upah, and also they sew manik, kasut manik. And to be able to climb the pokok buah, first you must go and cucur all the jagung for them. And also pilih the manik for them.
With the consistency in which May makes her shoes, she is a regular customer at her local craft shop where she buys the beads. A wide variety of colors and finishes of beads are needed to create May's masterpieces. One single red rose in a design can require up to 6 different shades of red to create depth. Different finishes of beads like matte and shiny are chosen to create a variety of desired effects. Coming from an educational background, May has also found ways to further develop methods of sewing the beads so the finishing of the face of the shoes is smooth and the beads are sewn firmly.
I'm very proud of it because it's sort of an identity of my upbringing and my keturunan. Okay? That's the reason why seeing what others have done and being also formerly doing art, teaching a little bit of art in primary school, I came up with the idea of it must be done systematically, and also you have to create your own designs, how to create those designs. I put it as 3 levels. The first level is teaching them to sew straight lines, creating using abstract pattern, using a very basic 5x5 squares, creating patterns with that, and combining those 5 and 5 squares, repeating it, or dropping it or flipping it. Then you have, with 1 square of 5x5, one simple basic pattern, you can create a lot of patterns.
After the break, the measure of a Nyonya lady.
In those days, a marriageable Nyonya girl, if she doesn't know how to do fine big work and fine embroidery, she's like of no value.
So fresh every day. Ooh, gardenia, it's so soft in every way. It's so tasty, so good you can even eat it on its own.
Biotherm discovered thermal water from a deep and pure source, rich in 36 vital nutrients. Let hydration power deep into 5 layers of skin.
After a long day's shoot, my skin feels like I've just applied mask, plump and radiant.
New Aquasource by Biotherm.
Here on The Breakfast Show, we make your mornings worth waking up for, from travel and adventure to financial tips.
And we also bring you the latest news on fashion and entertainment.
And don't forget, health tips and the latest workouts.
Plus news and current issues from home and around the world. So join us weekday mornings at 8:30 a.m.
Right here on NTV7, your home will feel good.
Known for her passion in the traditional art of making Peranakan beaded shoes, May is regularly invited to various locations around the country to display and demonstrate this intricate skill. Public demonstrations like this are another way May is able to widen her access to the public and raise their awareness of Peranakan culture through her exhibition of shoes handmade by May herself and some samples of her students' work. Her students' works are also available for purchase. It is a very proud moment for May when any of her students' works are purchased by a visitor. At this demonstration, May continues to work on a design that she has been working on for a few weeks now. Bead by bead, line by line, the creation takes shape before your eyes. As thousands of beads can be used in a single pair, the cost of making a pair of shoes can be surprisingly quite expensive. Due to the method of making the shoes, they cannot be mass-produced by modern machines, hence the reason they are not always easily available in stores.
Being a keturunan Baba Nyonya and being involved in handicrafts after my retirement, I find that, I must do something to help get this back and make the younger set aware of what we have, especially the Baba Nyonya, younger generation.
In May's continuing efforts to generate interest amongst the younger generation, she still maintains some of the traditional methods of making other Nyonya beadworks, such as using a creation like this one to make display pieces. But instead of old-fashioned items, May has created more modern accessories which the current younger generation can relate to.
Baba Nyonya weaving, we used to do the cover of the bantal and the across the doorway. So I've modified it and make it into friendship band, which will interest the younger set. Hopefully they will do it. And by doing this, I get more people to be aware of what we have in Penang and what are the projects that we have there running to preserve our heritage.
One of May's friends who shares her passion for all things related to their Peranakan heritage is Baba Michael Chia. An antique dealer, collector and Baba Nyonya historian, Baba Michael and May first met at the Penang State Chinese Association in the 90s. They often meet up at Peranakan functions and are sometimes in the same committees for Peranakan-related events and conferences.
These shoes, why they are so important? Because they are beaded by the bride-to-be as gifts for her husband-to-be, the groom, and for the father-in-law and mother-in-law, and sometimes even for the brothers and sisters-in-law. So if the groom's side is a lot of relatives or in-laws, they have to bead a lot of things. So they started doing it when they're 8 or 9 years old. Because this is a part of the culture and also to show the expertise. Because in those days, a marriageable Nyonya girl, if she doesn't know how to do fine beadwork and fine embroidery, she's like of no value. So last time in the olden days, when the future mother-in-law want to get a bride, daughter-in-law, she look at her workmanship, her fine needlework, embroidery, how to do the kabaya, how to do the shoes, and also how she cooks. But usually it's the pride of place in the wedding chamber. They have one cupboard just for the shoes, to show all the shoes beaded or sewn by the girl.
The bridal room, the pillow, the cover, the top, like we have a tablecloth or tray cloth. Over the pillow is beaded, and there is bead weaving. And then the doorway of the bedroom also beaded. So that must be done by the bride.
Peranakan-style homes like this one are always very ornate and show a fusion of influences, reflecting the residents' privileged upbringing. It is in these walls that young Nyonya girls are groomed by their elders for marriage, so one day their handiwork can be displayed proudly in their marital home, a sign of good upbringing by her family.
Those days, ladies are not allowed to go to work and even to go to school. It's only a little later, the slightly more outward thinking Baba Nyonya family that they send their girls to English schools and that also to convent. Okay? So, at home, If you don't go to work, if you don't know all this handwork, what do you do? So the outlook is that means you are very, what do you call, hardworking